Hey, let me help you get equipped and empowered in equating quadratic identities. On the left-hand side, we have a standard form quadratic, and we're going to equate that and identify with the non-quadratic standard format on the right-hand side here. Our outcome, our objective is to determine what the variables p, q, and r are. I said r twice there. That's what we're after. So the first thing we're going to do is identify the coefficients from this particular quadratic right over here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to expand this and then collect like terms and then equate it finally with this quadratic there, thereby coming up with the three elements that we're after, which is p, q, and r. So let's go first things first. Let's get the coefficients over here on the left-hand side. So the coefficient of x squared is a, so a equals 2. Coefficient of x equals b, b equals 5, and c equals -3. Okay, let's start expanding this right-hand side. We've got px times x. I'm going to expand that. So px times x is going to be what? That's going to be px squared, isn't it? So px squared minus px times 5 is 5px, is it not? So that's 5px. Right, 5px plus, now what we have is, let's expand this using the FOIL method, qx times r, that will be qxr, and then we have plus 1qx plus qx plus qx minus r, minus times a positive is a minus 1. Okay, let's start collecting like terms. Do you see any like terms? Coefficients of x would be the best one to do. So we got here, that's got a coefficient of x, and over here we have a coefficient of x, and by the way, over here also we have a coefficient of x. So let's take that x out. So first of all, let me write the first part, p x squared, and I always go plus x here, plus x. Now brackets, we can put all the negatives inside there. So plus x, we have a negative 5px, so we can write negative 5 inside there. Let's test it by expanding. Negative 5p times x is negative 5px. That works. Now we also have a plus qx, so all we have to do is go plus qxr, so plus qr in here, plus qr, and we have a qx there, so all we need to do is go plus q. Let's test it by expanding again. We have x times qr, so that's qxr. We've got x times q, qx, that works. Let's just write the end part now. So that'll be take away r minus 1. Okay, now that we've got the coefficients, we can start equating and matching up with this left-hand side standard quadratic equation. So over here on this side, we've got the px squared. That'll match up with 2x squared. So let's write that out. So we have px squared equals 2x squared. So clearly p equals what? Well, it's going to match to the 2, isn't it? So we got our first variable, first pronumeral. P equals 2. The second part right over here, negative 5p plus qr plus q. Let's match that up with 5. So those guys match up. So let's write them out now. So negative 5 plus qr plus q equals 5. So they match up. That's got an x coefficient. That goes here. That's got an x coefficient. It's the 5. 5 goes there. So now let's start to work with this. Unfortunately, we have two unknowns. It's going to be very difficult to work this out. But what I can do is I can factor right here because it makes it easier to substitute the q and the q here. So let me just factor it first, and then we'll come back to it because there's two unknowns. We can't find it. So negative 5p plus q, I'll factor this, r plus 1 equals 5. As you can see, I took q out as a common factor, and we've got r plus 1 for these two guys there. So this we can't find because we have two unknowns. We don't know what q is, we don't know what r is. But at the end here, we've got one unknown, only one, and it's r. So we can write this out over here, negative r, take away 1, is equal to what? Well, that last part is the negative 3. So negative 3 equals that. So that equals negative 3. So one unknown, easy to work out. So what I'm going to do is add 1 to both sides. So plus 1. So negative r is equal to negative 3 plus 1. That's going to give us a value of negative 2. Multiply both sides by negative 1 will yield positive answer. Therefore, r is equal to positive 2. Okay, so we got that value there. There we go. Okay, r equals 2. Now that we have that, we can drop and drag this into here and this into here so we can find the unknown, which is q. That's what we're after right here. We're after q. So let's start dragging these two guys and put them in. So let's start off with p equals 2. So we'll have here negative 5 times, now p is 2, so let's put a 2 there, plus q, the unknown, we don't know, q bracket. Now r equals 2, right over there. There's our r equals 2, put it right there, plus 1 equals 5. We're nearly there. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And then we have plus q times 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's q times 3 equals positive 5. This is basic right now. Negative 10 here, so what I'm going to do is add 10 to both sides. So plus 10. So we'll end up with 3q is equal to 5 plus 10, which is 15. Okay, all we have to do is divide both sides by what? Divide by 3. That's going to give us the value of q. Let me just write it up over here. So the value of q equals, up here where we got space, dividing by 3, 15 divided by 3. That's our q value. Q equals Q equals 5. Summarizing again, the three variables are, the first one, P equals 2, second one, Q equals 5, and finally, R equals 2.